My name is Chris Atwood. I'm a global account manager with the Salesforce Foundation. And what's really scary is this is my 9th Dreamforce. So let's try not to do that math this morning. I'm pleased to introduce Ashara Ekundayo, who's the co-founder and chief creative officer at the Impact Hub in Oakland. Ashara works closely with projects for her whole life, connecting community engagement to creativity and inclusiveness. So, one of our missions at both the foundation and at Salesforce is inclusion and diversity. So we're really pleased to have Ashara speak to you today.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Chris. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I know it's kind of early, but not really. And I came over from Oakland this morning, where it is not nearly as humid, but definitely as warm. And I have a tendency to present in front of folks who are sitting way closer. I'm not sure if this is a tech kind of thing, you are feeling a little removed, but I'd really love for you to come a little closer and scoot in so folks who might want to join us can just not sit in front of you. Yeah, this is good. This is a call and response kind of thing, by the way, as well. So maybe you're used to people standing up and talking and doing the talking head thing, but I don't want to do the talking head thing. That's why there's a DJ, right? Because we're going to get up and dance. I'm kidding. We're not going to get up and dance unless you really, really want to. This is my son, DJ Cable, who's holding it down today on the ones and twos. I really do mean he's my son. Not like yo son, but like yo son. like I had him 28 years ago. Like, came through my body. So he and his partner are visiting the Bay Area for the weekend and came in to rock the Life is Living Festival, which is a really amazing cultural arts, hip-hop, eco-literacy festival that happens on the second Saturday of October for the last 7 years in West Oakland. And I bring that up because we're going to talk today about place, space, and people. And there being a soundtrack is absolutely important. This is a picture of our staff at Impact Hub Oakland. And this is the city that I come from. That's right, Detroit in the house. Like, I say that this is important for me to frame how I come to community and how I come to my work, because there's something about growing up in Motown. There's that music thing and the car thing. And then there's that music thing and the car thing. So one of the things that was real for me is that almost all of my family, my father's side of the family, worked for Ford. They worked for GM. They made cars. They were makers. They were designers and developers. They weren't designers and developers in the same way that we think about design and development now, because 50 years ago, they weren't allowing brown and black bodies access to being the people who were drafting and creating the images for the cars. However, they did make the cars. The other thing that I came out of Detroit with was a fierce crush on Prince. You cannot be raised in Detroit and not be a total fanatic around Prince. So we're talking about ideas of diversity and ideas of being able to pull from all parts of yourself to come to the next level. So place is important. Then there's these people. This is the, I don't know, I guess I'd say it's a picture of the initial founders of Impact Hub Oakland. Note, we kind of range in size and color and age, sexual orientation, we range in class, economic status, we range in education. We have a PhD in chemistry who's a glass blower and the founder of a tea company and a filmmaker and a professor at Presidio. It kind of ranges all over the place. And so people matter. And then there's space. This is the Broadway route at Impact Hub Oakland. Now there are hubs all over the world. This happens to be the space that represents most, well, I think, the diversity of the city of Oakland. Each hub takes on the personality of the city that it's in, and that's our Broadway route. So, place and people and space. So those of you who don't know what Impact Hub is, it happens to be an affiliation of co-working spaces and event venues around the world, spanning 6 continents. Over 7,000 people who are hubbers, over 50 people, over 50 hubs, thank you, over 50 hubs that are operating right now, and over 20 that are in the making. Here's a map of some of the hubs that are on point for right now. Just in the United States, in this part of the country, there are 7 alone. I don't need you to go that far. Thank you. It didn't work. Now, but it's moving the wrong direction. Great. Let's go back to where we were. So note that there are hubs all over the world, and what we're thinking about is what makes your design and your development process unique. So why Oakland? Why Oakland? When we're here in San Francisco, it's like the big city. Sometimes Oakland is called the town, lovingly called the town. And so I thought I'd show you a short video that shows a little bit of the diversity of Oakland scene. And because I work in community through the lens of the creative, through creative economy, as a cultural worker, I see everything through the lens of the artist. Oakland is hella proud. So you might hear people say, oh, hella this, hella that, heck of this, heck of that. It's just one of the vernaculars of the Bay Area, particularly folks in Oakland. Check this out. So diversity enhances creativity. Yes, I'm behind you now because this idea of movement and fluidity is really important. Diversity being something that encourages the search for novel ideas is important in the design of your business and your platforms. It improves the bottom line of companies, and I know that lots of people are really into bottom line. We happen to be into the triple bottom line, which is people, planet, and profit. And of course, it just changes the way you think. So why would you show up at a development conference with your DJ? Just because music makes you think differently, right? Because creativity comes in lots of different forms. There are three other platforms that Impact Hub Oakland has used to design our business, the way in which we communicate with one another, and the way in which we communicate in our community. One of them is the design principle, design concept called permaculture. The next one is integral theory. This grid is really a boiled down version of a philosophy designed by King Wilbur out of Boulder, Colorado. And it's the way in which we design our programming through awareness, behavior, culture, and systems. We call it our ABCs. And then the third part is mindfulness. So this is about being clear, coming to the space with your most authentic self and being willing and open to check in with your community, to check in with your crew, to check in with your team, but to really check in with yourself. And if you have a problem with something that's unfolding, that really the first task is for you to go in, is to see, why am I pushing against this? Why do I have pushback? Where did my preconceived notions come from? And am I willing to go in and to talk about that with myself? One of the things that we asked our community to do was to come alive with us. When we talk about diversifying ideas, we also talked about diversifying our funding source. We needed to raise $100,000 to retrofit our beautiful 16,000 square foot car dealership that we now occupy. So we raised almost $143,000 in 5 weeks on Kickstarter. Impact Hub Oakland holds the distinction of being the first co-working space to ever use Kickstarter to raise money to start their business. Almost 1,300 people from around the world, but mostly people from Oakland. Mostly people from the city that we lived in said, we'll help you. And it didn't matter if it was $5, $25, $100. They were willing to give, and they were really excited about it. And still, to this day, we've been in our building 9 months now. Someone comes up every week and says, I gave to your Kickstarter campaign. They were really proud of that. They owned that. And it didn't matter what amount of money it was. So here we are, radical inclusivity. We have a list of principles listed on our website, of course, that we ask people who want to join Impact Hub Oakland. Not Impact Hub San Francisco, not Impact Hub Berkeley, not Impact Hub Prague or Melbourne or Oaxaca or Johannesburg, but Oakland. we hold a particular distinction of having one of the most racially equal distribution of folks in the United States. It's kind of a quarter. San Francisco Foundation put out some numbers a couple of weeks ago that says Oakland is no longer a majority black city. It's now become much more equal. And so, to some people's dismay, and to some people's delight, we happen to be really able to occupy space with lots of different people in lots of different ways. So radical inclusivity says that we believe in order to create a thriving and resilient community, all voices and perspectives must be invited to the conversation. This is actually a picture from Pechacucha, Oakland, that I also produced. And we thought, let's hold up and just check out, everybody hold up their technology piece. So that's what happened when we asked for that. So in between these values, I'll show you pictures of space. Authenticity I talked about, where you bring your whole person, invited to bring your whole person into the conversation. And you create a container for authenticity to emerge. So when people ask me what I do, it's been really interesting. I've had so many jobs and so many places in my career that I've gone, but what I know that I do is that I create containers. I create opportunities for other people to shine. This stage that these people are sitting on, as well as the art piece in the back, were actually all reclaimed wood from one of the other buildings that we use. So we paid artists to create a beautiful space, that the space was important for us, and that we have a success for Oakland, and a success for a city that often gets pushed aside, and you hear lots of really negative media around it, but there's also a lot of beautiful success. And we wanted to make sure there was a place where young people, where elders, where everyone was invited. And so creativity and expression are part of our everyday opportunity that is given. So this is that same room, the Broadway room, and this is an event called Late Night Art that one of our members produces from time to time. He's done them all over the world. But we actually sit down, eat this really foodie, high-end organic dinner, and then we make art together. So this is the circle up at the end of the evening. This is one of the other rooms inside Impact Up Oakland. Folks are like working on the tables that also used to be the roof, on top of the labyrinth. So we had an artist just come in one day and said, I'd really like to gift you all with a labyrinth, and pulled out 3 different colors of duct tape and proceeded to make us a labyrinth. Now, I've noticed that often people do not even realize that they're sitting on top of a labyrinth. But every now and then we push the chairs back, and when you walk into the room, you go, oh wow, that's a gate. And they walk the labyrinth. Just in the middle of the day, because they can, because it's good. And then we talk about collaboration. That is the whole brand that is Impact Hub on a global level. Collaboration is the meme that says innovation through collaboration. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This is a picture from Oakland Badass, activist, artist, Ms. Fabiana Rodriguez, presenting inside the gallery space that I direct. And she was actually having a conversation on immigration and the attack on the earth as an attack on women. And she was talking, using the metaphor of the butterfly, to talk about our right to move about. And today, as some people celebrate Columbus Day, some other people, myself included, also celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day today, that we actually honor those who came before us and the original people who inhabited this land, the Ohlone Nation, whose land we stand upon today and that we ask permission to walk upon each day. And so we have that conversation pretty openly and, pretty provocatively. Inspiration, we believe a spark of inspiration has the ability to change the world. This is a conversation with local Oakland photographer, Robert Hauser, who did a whole series of photographs of people who were going through chemotherapy, and the shift and the change and the diversity of that. And on the first Friday event, when we opened the exhibition, several of the people came to the show. They came in and they looked different. But there were 3 other people who had died since he had created the exhibition, and so there was an opportunity for us to honor them as well. This is one of our members, Hack the Hood. They won the Google Challenge this year. They work inside the gallery a lot to design and develop the programs in which they help young folks mostly folks of color from underserved communities around the Bay Area, Oakland, Richmond, and whatnot, to create websites, really cool websites for businesses. So you can get a free website designed by a young person who's been taught how to code through this program. So be sure to check out hackthehood.org. I think they're here tomorrow. I think they're hanging out tomorrow. Some of their youth will be here tomorrow. Respect is another principle of Impact Hub Oakland. We honor each other's gifts, keep sacred our physical environment, keep sacred all that we're doing, and we work through right speech, right thought, and right action. Omi Gallery is my gallery space inside Impact Hub Oakland. It's a container inside a container. So at the end of this, there'll be an opportunity for me to pour libation and for us to talk a little bit about Omi, which means water in Yoruba, one of the many languages spoken in southern Nigeria, and the essentialness of water for our development and for our understanding and being on this planet. And that this body is made of water, that this planet is planet water, actually, and that everything on this planet needs that element in order to survive. Reciprocity. This is a really important one. We value the opportunity to give to our community and to receive from our community. Often you get into conversations with people, you're listening, but you're not really listening, you're waiting to speak. Often you get into relationships with beings and with individuals and with organizations, and they come and they ask you for something, but they don't come to offer something at the same time. What we want to do is to encourage and to spur the opportunity to be generous with one another, and to be reciprocal with one another, and to be effective, that we leverage each other's strengths and resources to gain knowledge we need to effectively contribute to making the world a better place. So, as I come to a close, we look at what makes you come alive. This was a campaign that we used, I told you, a year and a half ago for our Kickstarter campaign, and earlier this year, this summer, we rebooted it. We did the relaunch of it and walked through an opportunity for us to have a conversation just on social media. We did it really to up our Facebook likes and our Instagram likes. So we asked people to take pictures of what makes them come alive. And not only did we get over 700 submissions just from our members, we actually also had conversations with our founders and our investors as well. Nina Robinson works with the organization Fund Good Jobs. When we asked her what makes her come alive, she said, knowing that everyone in my community has access to a good job. So in their mandate as investors in Impact Hub Oakland, they ask that all of the organizations and companies in their portfolio actually create good jobs in the community. Ahmed Rahim, who is the co-founder of Numi Tea, is also co-founder of Impact Hub Oakland. When we asked him what makes him come alive, he said, knowing that the work that I do affects someone on this planet and makes somebody's life just a little bit better. So again, this is this opportunity to be generous with one another, to be reciprocal with one another, to drink tea with one another, to be mindful about that. But to also know that the things that you are doing, the thoughts, the things that you are developing, affect everyone around you. This is Dr. Lisa Chacon. She's co-founder and COO. She also plays the piano. She's the one with the PhD in chemistry, who also is a glass blower. There's a piano in Impact Hub Oakland because we allow and really invite people to sit down and to make music inside the hub. And so from time to time, someone will just walk in and sit down and play. And this building is cavernous, so it sounds really amazing when someone plays the piano. This is our impact manager, Tatiana Vekovisheva. She cares about positive social impact in our community. She's a Russian immigrant. She speaks 4 languages, including Mandarin. She's a parent, and she just drills down into data, into numbers, into hacking that out. And it's really important to her. And people building people. This is really what this comes down to. Radical inclusivity is really about our opportunity to be spacious with one another and to give one another an opportunity to think about how to go further, how to open up. And sometimes you have to push. This is a picture of 2 of my granddaughters, his 2 daughters. He has 3. Hybrid diversity. This idea that we can do this without it being hard, it's hard sometimes. You have to push sometimes. You have to push yourself and you have to push each other. So it's been really interesting for me to observe how this conference is being put together with a very clear mandate to have conversations on so many levels around diversity. So be not afraid of pushing. So with that, I thought I'd close my time with you together with an opportunity for you to get a little taste of my son, DJ Cavum, as he talks about environmental justice as a master teacher, as a gardener, as an MC, and clearly as a DJ. So, y'all can put your phone down, you can stand up, you can make some noise, and put your hands together for DJ Cavum, y'all. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, check this out.
He's playing it.
Yeah, check this. Yeah. Gold in the bronze. High-bred Lex, high-bred Prius, high-bred Hummer car, pool bumping speakers. See me rolling deep, bird dogging with a tweeter. Meet me in the lobby with 100 young leaders. If you all have bikes and you're what they go for, never try to ride a bike behind the car. Got asthma in the hoods, we putting up a fight till polluters have them bells on my bike. We singing like I can't breathe the air, I can't breathe the air. It's simple like I can't breathe the air, I can't breathe the air. On streets, cool. Talking power shift after national law. Brushing off them chemtrails, holding on my plants. There's enough black dust coming from your power plant. You're my low rider as I hit the corner. While we all got asthma, tell me who the owner. Mercury in the fish man, don't you see the acid rain? Weatherman, they go the same. Tell me I can make a change, cause I can't breathe the air, I can't breathe the air. I can't breathe the air, I can't breathe the air. Solar power, wind power, geothermal, people power, earth ship, sound power, black power, people power, spark gas, solar power, geothermal, people power, earth ship, sound power, black power, people power, spark gas, solar power, geothermal, people power, earth ship, sound power, black power, people power, spark gas, solar power, geothermal, people power, earth ship, sound power, black power, people power, guardians out. Real G's with the Bibles and Cadillac. Nothing but hood facts. High-bred with the solar switches. I'm a G, I'm from the streets, I was born in it. 140 road smokes with the gold in it. Pushing chrome on the thick skin, grown with it. Powder coated on the frame, pinstripe painted. So fresh, so green, can't nobody hate it. It's when they see me when I'm riding 2 wheels with the wind through the hood. Riding 2 wheels with the wind through the hood. Riding 2 wheels with the wind through the hood. Riding 2 wheels with the wind through the hood. Go riding 2 wheels with the wind through the hood. Go riding 2 wheels with the wind through the hood. Go riding 2 wheels with the wind through the hood. Go riding 2 wheels, riding 2 wheels. Go riding 2 wheels, riding 2 wheels. Go riding 2 wheels. Go riding 2 wheels. Go in the walk, go in the balls, go in the walk, go.
Hey, that's what's up, y'all. Thank you all for joining us this morning. The Innovation Theater at Dreamforce, this opportunity to dream together, to act together, to manifest love. And so when we think about Impact Hub Oakland, we're not afraid to use the L word. We're not afraid to use that. Try to get in front of that microphone, in front of that speaker. We're not afraid to use that. And so there's a quote that I like to end talks on that says, the subject tonight is love, and then again tomorrow night. In fact, I know of no other subject to deal with until the day we die. Thank you for joining us today.